So when we think of PKI, we often first think of the web use case, one of the most common use cases, where a web server is proving its identity to someone in their web browser so they can establish a secure, trusted session. The digital world is expanding at a rapid pace. We've got an explosion of identities ranging from people to billions of devices to cloud workloads and even AI agents. And so with all those, we need sets of use cases and PKI certificates that will match all the different things that are out there so that we know that we're using the right type of certificate for the job at hand.
X9 is responsible for the generation and management of operational, interoperability, and security standards for the financial sector. And not just financial institutions and financial sector themselves, but all kinds of transaction processing that requires longer validity periods because the data life is much longer than a browser session or some of the browser exchanges.
The financial services industry had a different set of use cases, and their use cases and the public key infrastructure CAB forum use cases collided.
The CA Browser Forum, who governs public trust web certificates, has now stated that by 2029, all public trust certificates will have to be reissued every 47 days. Secondly, Google in their Chrome root program is actually going to stop accepting certificates that have mutual authentication enabled, which is something that is absolutely necessary for interoperable trust between organizations. Many businesses need a secure way to interact with their partner organizations, whether it's banks in a financial services community, or retailers and their supply networks, or even healthcare in a cooperative.
And X9 is perfectly positioned to do that because of their trust, the trust in X9 from the financial sector and from other sectors, because that's the reason X9 exists.
So there's three different main categories of certificates. First is public trust. It's global in nature, but has a very narrow set of rules because it's focused on a very narrow specific use case. The second is internal or private trust certificates, which are issued inside the boundaries of a given organization. Federated certificates, on the other hand, are kind of the best of both worlds. They can be trusted across boundaries, they're interoperable, and what's different is that the folks that have to do a common use case have agreed upon a common set of policies and rules that they're all going to abide by, so when they join that federation, they can trust each other, but the rules are in alignment with what their needs are.
The whole idea of the X9 Financial PKI was to develop a flexible plan for organizations to implement their use cases within the business model that they use and the risk models that they use.
At a recent key signing ceremony, we brought the X9 PKI online, launching a new federated PKI that was originally conceived for financial services, but is open to so many other use cases that are required by organizations that have interoperability needs.
It is unique, in fact, especially in the sense that even the CAB forum and the Web PKI brought auditing after the fact. X9 was very forward-thinking and has auditing standards and compliance requirements brought in from the beginning. So everything that happens in this new X9 hierarchy will be trusted and will be audited by third party.
In order to get one of these certificates, the entity or the organization getting it has to go through a higher level of identity verification, of validation, that they are who they say they are, and then that trust is put into that credential and then carries with it wherever it's used.
X9 is putting themselves in a position to be able to support that by establishing a quantum computing-based public key infrastructure so that organizations, as they prepare, they can make that transition smoothly from today's generally accepted algorithms into quantum computing resistant algorithms.
So there's a lot involved in not only just those use cases, but also X9's PKI is pretty interesting in the fact that they're kind of really blazing a trail for all these other industries out there that use PKI, but don't really have a formal process for kind of trusting each other and developing compliance mechanisms and kind of rolling out a common hierarchy.
It's X9 PKI on DigiCert Roots.